All right, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to round 8 of RN Fantasy MX. I'm your host, Chase, and we got a lot to talk about today. We are headed to Washougal, just north of the Oregon border. It's one of the pro nationals I have been to. It is by far my favorite track. If you get the chance to go there, scenery-wise, there is no better track, maybe in all of the country. Even I'd say it's one of the top tracks in all of the world that you want to go check out. So we are headed to Washougal in Washington. Look, if you're not playing RN Fantasy MX already, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's free to play. You just make your top 5 picks and a wild card. I'm here to help you out. And doing so, it makes the racing more exciting. You win fantasy points, which can win you grand prizes at the end of the year. You can win weekly prizes, but also we do fantasy cash. The points you score go to cash that you can spend on Rocky Mountain's website. And also new for 2024, we have the app you can download to your smartphone to make your picks, get all notifications right there. You have no excuse. Download the app, get signed up, and let's play fantasy. All right, this is why you want to be playing fantasy. Look, here's just the top 3 prizes we're giving away at the end of the year. First place, KTM 300 SX, fully decked out. Second place, you get a Gas G-Lite Trail E mountain bike. Third place, ticket to ride. We bring somebody out here to Utah. We go check out Southern Utah and have an absolute blast. That's just the grand prizes. There's 7 others to give away. Weekly prizes this week, our top 3. Pair of Fox Motion boots, one of my favorite mid-level boots, a GoPro Hero 12 for second, and Fast Flex handlebars for third place. But like I said, 7 other prizes to give away, and we do the fantasy cash. All right, KTM leaderboards. Here it is, the overall. Right now, it's Hef 09 with 581 points, CP 160 in second with 576, and Dottie 969 at 573. We got some new names up there in the top 10. I like to see that. Weekly prize winners from Millville. It was Brent winning the Matrix Concepts LS1 lift stand. Pretty unique name, just Brent. We got Gumma 35 winning the pizza oven, and Motomark 38 taking home the Fastway Air EXT foot bags. Shout out and congratulations to the winners from last week. Here are your last race results up here on the table. Chase, Sexton, Hunta. I think I was right in the last episode. Chase has just become to Hunter what Jet was to Chase. And I hate to say it, but now when we go to watch the races, before you just kind of expected Jet to win, well, it's kind of like that with Chase now, where pending Chase doesn't crash or have some sort of weird thing happen, he's probably going to win the rest of the races from here on out. That's just my take on it. What do you think? Comment down below. But it was Hunter, then it was Justin Cooper, another solid podium, Aaron Plessinger, 4th overall, Jason Anderson, and then Chiz finally did what we expect him to do all year. 13th overall, his best result so far. Congratulations to that man there. News and injuries. Tomac's still out. Don't know when he's going to be back on the bike. Supposed to make it to maybe the last 2 rounds, but for sure I think the last one before the SMX playoffs. Webb, hopefully he's back soon. I know he's back on the bike. Benny Blas, Justin Barsha, a few other riders that are injured. So here we are. Fox Racing Track Trends, Washougal. I already said it, one of the coolest motocross tracks. It got started back in 1971. Been around a lot longer than I thought it had. But what's cool about Washougal, amazing elevation changes. The dirt there, it's very clay and it gets loamy on top, but is by far probably the hardest base of all the tracks that these guys race on. So the dirt is pretty tricky. And one of the biggest things that these riders struggle with at Washougal is actually the shadows. They go in and out of the shadows all throughout the day, can play tricks on the rider's eyes. So that's something that some of these riders struggle with. But in any case, we had phenomenal racing there over the last few years. So I love Washougal, excited to watch it this weekend. All right, here we are, 100% top contender, starting out with Chase Sexton. Look, he's won 5 motos in a row. He's got a 13-point lead over Hunter. Pending he crashes or does something silly, he's going to win this weekend in Washougal. That's my prediction. Now, I did have the chance, though, to catch up with Daniel Blair and ask him 2 specific questions. The first one was, we've noticed that Chase will just hang out behind Hunter. And then when Chase decides it's go time, he gets around Hunter, he drops the hammer. Hunter seems to hang for a couple laps, but then he falls off the pace. I want to know, is this a fitness thing? If Hunter had better fitness to be able to go at that pace, because he can go that pace, he just can't hang on to it. So is fitness the only thing that is keeping Hunter from being on the top of the box? The other question I have is, are some of these riders just naturally more gifted genetics-wise to have better fitness? Chase Sexton, Eli Tomac, Jet Lawrence, some of these riders that we've seen over the years that can just do these unreal paces during the second motos and they don't drop off. Is that just a God-given talent? Or can Hunter, can he reach that status? Justin Cooper just talked about how he got tired again. Well, look, he's done the entire season. So have Hunter and Cooper, have they just met their ceiling? Or do you think they can improve on that? Let's hear what you think.
Another awesome question. Chase, bringing good questions every single week. But these two questions kind of go together, in my opinion. We're talking, obviously, fitness and what's happening with these riders at this stage in the season. I think that's the big question for me, is how are they feeling right now? You know, every racer goes through a long championship run of 17 Supercrosses, 11 Motocross, and I think you get to a point in the season where you're tired. You're physically tired, you're mentally tired, you're emotionally tired. The routine it's difficult to keep this thing going. I mean, it's a glorious life. It really is, but it's also super, super tough. And I think for Hunter Lawrence, he's probably hitting that wall for the first, he's hitting that wall for the first time on the 450, where you're not on one coast or the other in Supercross and you're only racing half the time. I think it really does play a role, and it does for Chase too, and for Eli and Jet, even at their peak fitness. All these guys have to go through this. But I think for Hunter, that's the deal right now. I think he's hitting the wall a little bit midsummer. It's been a long year. He's also coming off the Redbud crash, which is probably playing even more of a role, if I would say. I'd say in the short term, that's probably more of the issue, is just the after effects of that crash. Thankfully, he's okay, but obviously banged up. But if you mix those two together, I think that's where your last 10 minutes are coming up short for Hunter Lawrence. And as far as these guys having like just elite peak physical, I mean, they get there over time. You know, not all these guys have it in the beginning. They find a way to get there. They learn their diets. They learn how to train. They learn how to, navigate an entire season. It takes a couple of years to do that. So for Chase Sexton, I think he's done a really good job at keeping his tank full physically, mentally, emotionally. Eli Tomac had that in his championship year. So did Zach Osborne. So to win that 450 title, you got to find a way to keep the tank full. And that's hard to do when you're crashing and you're going through the motions of a tough 450 championship. So that, to me, is the answer to the fatigue issue in the last 10 minutes. J. Coop, too. They'll learn it. They'll get there. It's just their first time going through it, and it's been a long, long year for them.
All right, thank you, Mr. Blair. All right, back to our top contenders, Hunter Lawrence. He's led 16 more laps than Chase Sexton this year, but still hasn't won an overall, which is kind of shocking. So he still hasn't finished off the podium, though, so no reasons to not put him on your podium. He's almost guaranteed for second overall right now, pending something happens to Chase. Justin Cooper, here's the cool thing. Justin is just 10 points ahead of AP right now for third overall in this championship. And if you think that these guys don't care about third overall, that is big bonus money on the line for these guys. So I promise you, some of the best battles that we're going to see are going to be between Justin Cooper and Aaron Plessinger for those guys wanting that third overall for the season. So pay attention to that. But look, Justin Cooper's average start is better in Moto 1 and Moto 2 than AP, and he's got 3 hole shots to AP 0. So if you're not quite sure if you want to put Cooper third or AP third, put Justin Cooper third. His stats are telling you that he is better than AP right now. Doesn't mean that Aaron Plessinger has been bad. If we look at him, he tied Anderson last week with 8 points for fourth overall, but he had the better result in Moto 2. He just needs to clean up his starts. He's a little bit more unpredictable there. He's got the speed. I think he's got the fitness. But if Justin Cooper starts ahead of AP, I don't think AP is going to catch and get around him. So that's why I'm going to keep AP this week in fourth behind Justin Cooper. Jason Anderson, cannot believe this. Still no overall podiums and only 3 top 5 moto finishes, 3 top 5 overalls. But he does have 11 top 5 moto finishes. Yeah, go figure. So he's running in the top 5. He's doing really well, just no podiums yet. But I think that time is coming, and here's the kicker. If it is going to happen, I think Washougal could be a good track. He always says and shows that he likes harder packed surfaces. We've seen that in Supercross. Washougal being the type of soil that it is, maybe this is his weekend to shine. If you want to get risky, maybe looking to make up a few points, you could put Anderson on your box. I think this is one of the better races for him to do that this year. Last but not least, you got Dylan Ferrandis. Still just do 2 top 5 overalls. He's just the 6th best guy right now. So I'm not going to put him in my top 5. Again, if you want to get risky, you could, but Dylan Ferrandis, 6 overall is kind of where he belongs right now. All right, Bell Racing Wildcard Watch. It is 11th place this weekend. Here's who I got. Phil Nicoletti. His average overall finish is 12.3. He did just get 8th overall in Millville, so maybe that says something. But he's finished between 9th and 11th in 7 of 12 motos this season. Marshall Welton, who somehow went 13-13 for 12th overall and didn't get the wild card for a lot of people, but dang, he's been good. He hasn't finished better than 12th overall, but he has 2 12s and 2 13ths overall this season, so he's right on that bubble. Christian Craig, 7th overall last week. Look, I was so stoked for Christian to finally get inside that top 10. It's been a rough year and a half for that man. So for Craig to crack the top 10 is awesome for him. But look, his average overall finish is 12 this year. So 7th to 12th could fall anywhere into that range. So 11th, honestly, I don't think is a bad spot for Craig, though. Grant Harlan, he's finished 11th overall 3 times this season. He's finishing within 3 spots of 11th in almost half the motos. And then last but not least, Freddie Norn. He finished 11th overall 2 times this season, has 8 moto finishes within 2 spots of 11. So Norn, Harlan, those are my 2 top picks statistically for the wild card this weekend. All right, here we are. This is my Motion Pro. Lock them in. I've got Chase Sexton, Hunter Lawrence, Justin Cooper, Plessinger, Anderson, my wild card, Grant Harlan. Look, I'm boring. I know it's the same top 5 that we just had, but it makes sense. So that's what I'm sticking with right now. Daniel Blair, who you got?
So I'm going to roll with Chase. I think that's an easy pick. I'm going to roll with him at Washougal. He's good there, too. Beat Eli Tomac there a couple of years ago with a 2-1 finish, and the ball is rolling. So I'll go Chase Sexton. I think Jason Anderson is due for a good one, like a really good one. So he's probably a little embarrassed from last week's fall on Race Day Live, too. I'm sorry. I've watched that so many times. But I'll go Anderson second. Let's go Hunter Lawrence third. Let's get weird in 4th. Let's go Dylan Ferrandis in 4th and Justin Cooper in 5th. I don't think it's the best track for Justin Cooper. And then wild card, let's just make it easy and not trick ourselves. Phil Nicoletti, he's 11th in points, so I'll pick him 11th for the wild card. I mean, sometimes you just outsmart yourself. I'm going with the guy who's in 11th to finish 11th. See you next week.
All right, Blair. Time to see if your picks are going to pay off. All right, everyone, that does it for round 8 of RM Fantasy M Experts. Hopefully these stats are helping you out to make your picks each and every week. But I want to know, comment down below, who do you have in your top 5? Who's your wild card going to be? Are we going to get a surprise overall winner this weekend? Can anybody win one of these things besides Chase or besides Hunta? I want to know. Comment down below. As always, get subscribed to the RM Fantasy YouTube channel if you haven't already. We are here each and every week to help you make your picks. Have fun this weekend. Good luck on your picks.